Hey guys, it's Bob on and I'm back drawing again. I don't like the long intros, so let's just get into it. I've been running around in the woods again and I'm going to show you some more pictures of some of the mushrooms that I've been drawing. This one's a flare agaric that I picked up and brought home. I've only been picking up the ones that are kicked over, which, like I say, is a lot. I talked about this in the last video. I'll put a link to that. This is the exact one I'm drawing over on the right though, Amanita muscaria. It's kind of hard to confuse that with any. I also have this other one that I picked up that unfortunately fell apart in my bag as I was bringing it home. I think it might be a Amanita rubescens. If there's any mushroom people watching this video, I'd really be interested to hear from you. Actually, I am just starting to figure out how to identify these, and I thought that drawing them would help me learn and look at some more of the smaller details to make sure I know what they are. The fly agaric is the first one I'm going to be drawing, and then I have two more that I will be drawing later on in the video. Here are some more pictures of ones that I saw out in the wild. I did have to go more off the path to find these ones that were undisturbed. There was just so many of them along the path that had been kicked over and kicked around and destroyed and in pieces. The one that I picked up was one that was also knocked over, but it was only like slightly damaged and starting to dry out. There is something about a big red mushroom just at foot height that people cannot resist kicking, and well, I assume it's not just those, because if you listen to my story from the previous video, you'll see what I'm talking about, but there's definitely something about it being bright red. It's like a big bright red button with a do not press underneath it that people cannot resist, and that makes me mad, frankly. I am turning into the Lorax slowly. Here's another picture of one that I saw that is a lot smaller and just starting to pop out of the egg sac. But this one was well hidden under the moss, so it was undisturbed. It sort of looks like a clown nose. I like the idea that a clown would be hiding under there, and if you dare kick the mushroom, the forest clown will pop up and eat you. Forest it, friend of the Lorax. I should design that and draw it at some point. That'll probably be something I do digital on stream with some of the mushroom texture brushes I've been making from photos I've taken. On the painting right now, what I decided to do was do the lines and then do an outline. That's what I've done on the previous one, the first one that I did. This is the second one. My paints aren't very good. They're quite old and dried out, so I'm doing the best I can with them. I want to do these a few more times before I really invest in more new paints. I don't really want to buy things I'm not going to continue with. But if people are interested in these videos and I decide to continue doing more, then I might invest in some nicer ones. One thing I did do this time that gets me slightly better results was to try and make a spore print from these, so you can see me just popping the stalks off and putting them onto a piece of black paper. I wanted to see what it would look like if it actually worked, and to see if I could take photos of the spore print to turn into digital brush materials. We'll loop back around to that later at the end of the video and show you what those spore prints look like. I'll also show you some of the other pictures that I took now. There were a lot of different ones that I saw out in the woods, and I'm not entirely sure what all of them are. Like I say, if anyone's watching that knows or has suggestions, I would be interested to hear. Is there an overlap between the mushroom people and the art people? I don't know if that's a thing. I assume some of you are crafty. I do like my crafts, but I don't really post them on here. I thought this was okay because it's more painting. This is more what my channel's about. I want to keep it at least somewhat consistent. I don't want an everything channel. Maybe I should make a different channel for this sort of thing. Anyway, the painting on this one is about done. Here it is for comparison. By the time I was done with this, it took me a while of recording it when the daylight was out, so the mushroom itself started to dry up. I did actually pick up two of them, and I will show you the second one now, but that one did not have any of the spots left on it. They'd all been washed away. And the last thing I did was go and add in some small highlights with my white chalk pencil just around the edge so you could see the striations. Anyway, here we go with the second one that I picked up. This is a honey fungus. I think it's a honey fungus. There was lots of them growing on a fallen stump. There's been a few different flushes of them on different stumps. And some of them have smelled like aniseed, and this one just smelled very, very mushroomy. You can see the next little guy on my tray there as well. I'll get to him in a minute, but here is a closer view of this honey fungus and also the gills on the underside. As you can see me drawing, I'm getting a bit obsessive about the way that I'm drawing the gills, and I'm not entirely sure that I like that. It's sort of too small on the paper for me to be able to get enough detail in there. Maybe if I was using acrylics or something that would work, but it's starting to get quite frustrating. What I'm also doing on this one, instead of drawing a single honey fungus, what I'm doing is drawing this one from a certain angle. I sort of prop them up further away in front of me so I can see them as I'm drawing, and the one at the very top is drawing directly from what I can see. The rest of them is me taking those shapes that I've been observing and moving them around to make a little clump of them so it's not quite so boring as the first two that I did. Here's a bit of a longer preview of the sketch as well. I've been erasing these and then going over them with my paints on this one instead of using a thicker, sort of heavier line pigment pen. I'm just using a Faber-Castell putty eraser for that, and I sort of squish it and almost pat it on like Play-Doh so it just takes some of that graphite off. And now I'm going to start going in with my paints like so and building it up slowly. I have talked about this in some other videos where I really like artists like Caravaggio, who has very heavy shadows, dramatic lighting. I'm sort of obsessed with it. But when it comes to softer lighting and more diffuse light, I tend to fight with it quite a lot. So I'm trying to lean into those more subtle gradients of colour and value in these. And studying mushrooms seems to work quite well. They have very subtle shapes and differences in colour. That is also a lot to do with the identification, so I'm hoping I can learn more about both as I work on these. Also, here's a picture of the creepy woods in the fog. It was very, very spooky. The fog was rolling in sheets like I was in the clouds. Pine forests are a whole different kind of creepy, especially in the fog. More pictures of mushrooms incoming also. There was some of this beardy lichen up there, which I really want to use for brush textures. I'm going to get to deep frying that image to do that at some point. I think this one is a grisette, and I'm not sure about the rest. The last ones might be another amanita. Now I'm starting to get to where I am almost done with these colours. I don't think I got them exactly as accurate as I wanted them to be. I do plan to do maybe another video at some point where I talk about why illustration is so interesting, because trying to identify fungi with the aim of possibly being able to eat them at some point and using illustrated reference books for that really throws into contrast how much you can achieve with illustration to make something identifiable, to make sure that someone's not going to get poisoned by it. Like, so, okay, some people are going to be daft and eat things anyway, but you have got to be really on point with your observations and representing that in a way that is identifiable. I have a whole separate sort of respect for that now, as I've been looking at mushroom identification things, and specifically books that are illustrated. Now that I'm done with the painting, I am starting to use my pencils. I wanted to sort of leave them on there so you can see them. I like my Derwent Coloursoft pencils quite a lot. They are quite heavily pigmented. I've used these for years. I can't really compare any other pencils. I've had these for a long time and they're good quality, so I keep using them. But anything that I do traditional, I tend to lean towards, especially with Copic markers, if I use those, I like to put those down as my wash and then go over the top to get my more subtle gradients or little details like this with the pencils, because they're a lot easier to control, they don't bleed or blend as much. And especially for drawing the gills in, the paper I'm using is quite textured, so it's difficult to get a nice continuous line, which bothers me. I usually like my clean lines, but I have been having fun with it. It's something different and it's forcing me to think differently and do more traditional art, which is a good thing. It's quite interesting because I've got several different motivations for doing these, so there is wanting to do more traditional art again and get back into doing studies, especially studies that I can share. Like I say, I've done sort of outside ones, but they're too specific to share. I'm getting an interest in learning about mushrooms that has frankly been a long time coming. I knew it was going to happen and now it's finally hit. Also, my fight with gradients that I mentioned, and where I'm trying to do those better. I usually mention with the rest of my illustration videos and work that when I'm studying, I like to compile all of the different things that I'm having issues with and create an illustration based around that so that I get to work on several different things at the same time. And that creates almost a puzzle that I need to work on, and if there's anything I'm struggling with, I have a definite end goal that I'm working towards that forces me to go and specifically study those things and research them. This one up at the side at the moment also is the one that I mentioned earlier, I think, is an Amanita. It's hard to see the bottom of it on this one though, and the skirt's gone already. One thing that is difficult to draw on these actually is where the spores hit the top of them and then they bounce the light around in a certain way. I tried to paint or brush some blue on with my pencils at the top to try and get some of that dustiness, but I'm not quite sure I'm catching it yet. Anyway, here is the finished one that I colour corrected slightly. And right on to the next one. I think this one is a clouded funnel. I think so. I'm not 100%, but I think it could be. I have some more pictures of these that I'll show in a minute. They were actually growing in a little circle. I took a picture of all of them in the leaf litter that they were growing on, and I didn't realise until later when I looked at it that they were in a circle. I went up into the woods and just about spotted these on one week at the weekend, and then the next week that I went up, they were so much bigger. Most of the other ones I've seen when I've come back after a week, they have been eaten and gooey and nasty. I didn't want to disturb them while they were small, so I didn't pick any then. I only saw a few of them and they were like tiny little buttons. And then they opened up to about this size. I have not been up there since, so I assume they're sort of eaten and a bit gross by now, or decaying or maggoty. So if I see the same set of them again, I don't think I'll pick any more. I picked this one specifically because it was quite well chewed by, I assume, slugs at the bottom. I think these are the nicest looking ones that I have brought home to paint so far, or the freshest ones. This one didn't go as dry as quickly. I tried to paint this one in a bit more leaf litter as well because they are something that grows more in loamy soil, I was reading. This one turned out, I think, a bit better. I'm slowly catching on to the style I'm trying to get with these. I think just too many pencil marks is something I'm having a problem with. I would like to have the very subtle colour blocks that you can achieve with watercolour. Here's some more pictures of the honey fungus as well, with what I was talking about with the spores on the top of them, where they start to look like they've had a bit of a dusting of either ice and sugar or snow. And they were really big, actually. The other ones I've seen were a lot more round, but these had a fluffier, more wobbly edge, I think. I'm still not sure if the other ones I saw were honey fungus or not. I was slapping them in the last video, I think. They had more of a dark spot in the top middle. But these are really, really packed in on a stump and popping up through the ivy. There was some of them almost interlocking with each other where I think they'd grown up through or next to each other. And that disturbed the shape of them, so some of them had gaps that had other mushrooms slotted into, which I haven't seen before, but I chopped one of them in half, the one I brought home, the stem of it, just to cut it down a bit, and it smelled so good. It smelled so mushroomy and tasty, it made me want to fry some mushrooms. I need to find out if they are not gonna do me in. Here's a little, what I assume is an ink cap that I noticed as well. I haven't been back to check on that one. It was only small when I saw it, but so tiny and cute. Anyway, I am just about done with this one now. Just putting some of that dust in on these too with that blue around the top. I'm also liking adding that into the shadows on this one, and when you see the adjusted sort of color corrected one, because the lighting is all over the place, I'm using natural light in these, I will even it out so that it is closer to the actual thing. There's another picture of the creepy woods too. I don't really go into them when it's misty like that. We don't get it all that often. Not that heavy of a mist anyway. It was very strange. I do think I put too many details on the gills of this thing. In my last video I was looking at the Diary of a Country Lady, I think. Edwardian Diary of a Country Lady by Edith Holden. And I was looking at the way that she was painting them with the watercolours. And I don't think I'm quite there yet. It's okay, but I hope I'll improve as I do more of these. There's that one finished though. So there we go, they're all done. Here is a quick show of all 4 of them that I've done so far, and also my spore prints that did not come out very well. I think they'd already dropped all their spores because they were a bit old and ratty, all these mushrooms. But I'm getting closer. One day I will get a nice spore print and I will probably use it for brush textures also. I quite like how dusty and fusty they look, especially around the edges. But yeah, I will put a link to that last video. Also, I plan to maybe do some streams of working on these in the future if I can find some more mushrooms, especially in the winter. I know where the Scarlet Elf Cups live. I think they would be fun. I'm not sure what else I can spot in the winter. This is my first time going out there at that time of year, really, specifically looking for fungi, so we'll see what I find. I may be streaming those on the Patreon though. Everywhere that I post, there are links to down below. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.